The answer would be, I think, a resounding yes. I think it was eye-opening to some as to what others had to offer and where they were coming from.
So lots of ideas came to the table, and I think everyone took away new ideas and new thoughts and new perspectives.
It is a good platform for all of us to meet and discuss the real issues that are facing the industry.
Well, I had an old boss that always used to say that if we learned one thing today, we've made our money. And I think I've made my money here today.
It was interesting to hear similar thoughts, regardless of the industry or the area.
I was surprised at the number of diverse points of view and the fact that in many ways we came to the same conclusions.
I never expected that, between the 20 or so of us who are working together this morning, that we would have put as many as 100 issues on the table.
The way that the hub seems to be evolving is that the platforms are going to be the drivers of the content moving forward, which I think is a great idea.
This hub was an initiative to start a pattern for the entire country, and that really, really excited me.
How much attention, how much agreement, really, there was over what I would call breaking through to the simple.
What kinds of partnerships can we develop to transition those who are relatively green coming into this industry to help them get the relevant experience to help grow the industry?
It's natural to focus on the technology. I think we need to elevate occupants and operators and owners and users of buildings to that same level.
How do you get vendors to not just try and sell one product, but how do you get vendors to operate within an integrated solution for building owners?
Education is important, both for operators and maintainers who may have different actual educational needs.
Building owners are not going to invest in retrofit projects if they don't have valid audits with a good cost analysis and good payback.
I think there's not enough outreach to the business owners, explaining all the benefits of the retrofit.
The disconnect between capital costs and operating costs, and the need to really factor in the life cycle costs of operating a building and a building system during design.
We need to continue to educate the community, continue to educate our politicians, and to make sure they're comfortable with the change that is getting ready to take place in the industry.
I'm a great believer that we won't affect change until we sort of change our culture and the way we look at our use of energy.
I think it's the will, it's the time, and it's the tools.
In the early stages of any project, multiple stakeholders need to be engaged. And so we often find that a lot of the decision making has already taken place by the time the people who can influence the outcome are brought together, to solve the problems.
There needs to be a success story. There aren't enough success stories when it comes to integration.
Until the sort of structure of contracts and things like divided responsibilities and liabilities are worked out, that both architects and contractors are going to be reluctant to join forces and create partnerships.
Owners need to be educated in their own language about the advantages of an integrated team.
So much of what our disciplines know is locked up in language either that is not common language, or sometimes even trickier is when we use the same words and they have different meanings.
We need a little bit more education, to build a little more trust with teams.
We just can't, expect people to take on this sort of challenging work on their own because of the good of, a number of reasons. We need to help sort of hold their hand through it until it becomes common practice.
Just to get to meet some other people and start to see some of the diverse perspectives. That was the most important thing that I think I've gained so far.
Just how deep the commitment is, how strong this sense of civic engagement.
The need for the hub, I think, was really affirmed by the caliber of participation we had in the platforms.